We're looking forward to it. Last question. If you had to give us a percentage on 0 to 100 for Crawford and Spence, what would you say?
I'd say it's somewhere in the, I think, 70-80% range. Making some progress. I don't want to get too much into the details, but there's progress being made. And most importantly, both fighters want the fight, very much. You talk to either one of them, and they're not saying anything other than each other. So I think that's really what gives me the confidence that it will get done.
Hey, hold on now. Stephen Espinoza says he has some confidence that Errol Spence, Terence Crawford can get done and will get done. He says as of right now, he can't go into too many of the details, but he's saying around 70 to 80% in terms of the progress. So we got to talk about it in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well. Hey, start that cat. Man down. Make sure you guys subscribe for the best in boxing, the latest and greatest, all that good stuff. The fight you all want to see, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, Spence versus Crawford, however you want to say it. Undisputed for all the belts, all the marbles. And you've seen the clip at the beginning. My guy shot that with Stephen Espinoza. Shout out to him. And I want to talk about that. I had something to say. So first and foremost, I gotta keep it a buck. The end of the day, if this fight does get made, which I'm not reporting anything that hasn't been said, that's why I played that clip at the beginning for you. But if it gets made, Errol Spence and Boxing Eagle will have a lot of people eating crow, because this is not what we've heard from many of the Terence Crawford fans, the Bud Buddies and things like that, in regards to Errol Spence's positioning. A lot of people called Errol Spence out of his name, said Errol Spence was a duck artist, said Errol Spence didn't want none, he didn't want no smoke, etc., etc. So you heard the man in charge at Showtime, Stephen Espinoza. He says both guys want the fight. Neither one of them are saying anything other than, yo, we want the fight. So what does that say for Errol Spence? I liken this to, let's say it was a murder case. Murder was a case that they gave me, right? Bow wow. 9-4 plus 5 penny. Add that up, nigga. Right? Murder was a case that if this was a murder case, right, then it would be the job of the DA or whatever to find evidence that supports this person as being the murderer. In the world of boxing, this analogy suits an overall influx of fans and what people were saying. They try to pin the murder, aka ducking Terence Crawford, on Errol Spence Jr. They say he don't want it, he's not ready, and he'll never fight him. And Crawford, I will say, kind of fueled these notions. So if and when this fight does happen next, then again, Errol Spence and myself, and I include myself because you have never seen any videos where I was pushing this agenda that either guy, Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, was afraid of the other person. I never felt that, right? But I don't have to spend too much time talking about Terence Crawford, because from the overall consensus, I haven't really seen many people that suggested he was problematic in Crawford Spence fighting. If anything, the masses suggested that Terence Crawford was about that life and Errol Spence was the one that didn't. And I explained this years ago, and make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. SLC, subscribe, like, and comment. It's so rewarding to be a YouTuber because it's like Hansel and Gretel. I leave the breadcrumbs. I leave a trail. There's a paper trail. You can always find my old work. My whole anthology is on the net. You see what I'm saying? It's like a rapper and you look at his old discography. You see you could go to Wikipedia or Google search and you can find every album, every mixtape in order, what year they came out and whatever. And my anthologies, my discographies, they're all online for you guys to see. And I proclaimed this years ago that Errol Spence Jr. was going to continue mopping up his side of the street and doing what he said he was going to do. And Crawford just has to keep his belt warm, and then they would likely fight. But I didn't see the fight happening under the current situation that was then the case, which was Terence Crawford being with Bob Arum and Top Rank. You guys have to really understand this boxing game. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be in boxing for so long. Got a lot of great contacts, made a lot of great people. And, you know, I continue to pioneer this game. And you got to understand how the business works. Like, the reality is, Errol Spence Jr. is the A side. Another thing that I've suggested heavily on my channel. He is the A side. He is the man. He is the guy who did the heavier lifting. He is the guy with a network that actually, you know, spent the time to build him up. Like, I'm not saying Errol Spence and Derrick James didn't do a great job. Of course, they did their job. But as a network, as an organization, as an entity, you've seen Fox, because Errol Spence fought on Fox, if I'm not mistaken, and Showtime, Stephen Espinoza, Al Heyman, PBC, Premier Boxing Champs, TGB, Tom Brown and Brittany Goosen, right? You've seen a concerted effort for the name and brand of Errol Spence to continually rise through and by way of branding. Like this clip you see that I was at, that I shot, where there was 50,000 people in the AT&T Stadium on Fox PBC. I told you he fought on Fox before. Fox PBC pay-per-view, and there was like 50,000 people there. It was jam-packed, Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium, and Errol Spence dominated Mikey Garcia. So the point I'm making is, this was an effort made by all parties. Derrick James, DJ, Charlo. You know, Charlo's always said good things, both of them, about Errol Spence. You know, and that's the thing I like about these Texas dudes, pause, is the Texas boys, there's some level of camaraderie. Unfortunately, like where I'm from the Bay, and it's like a dog-eat-dog world. It's a lot of crabs in a bucket type of mentality. That's the mentality. Like, people is not pulling the other person up, and you know, if they gotta connect or whatever, they're gonna be stingy and keep that to themselves. They got the plug on something, they got a line on something, etc. But from what I've seen, and I'm not saying this is all parts of Texas, but at least in boxing in Texas, you see some brotherhood, and you know, it's like a fraternity, camaraderie, especially with DJ Stable. And even though Jamal Charlo was with Ronnie Shields, it's all like family. You know, they all treat each other like brothers and whatnot. So Errol Spence, the bottom line is, he's been a brand that has been pushed through his trainer, through him, through Frank Martin, through the Charlos, through the Tom Browns and TGB promotion and all these things, right? And that's something that's been lacking in Terence Crawford's career. And I've always said that, because Crawford was with Top Rank, ESPN, HBO for 10, 11 years, and they didn't roll out the red carpet treatment for him. So what does this suggest? If Errol Spence Jr., if as soon as Crawford becomes a free agent, boom, the first fight in free agency, when he's not bogged down or tied to somebody else, the first fight could be Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I mean, what does that tell you? So what was the real problem? Because you guys try to pin the tail on the donkey and accuse Errol Spence and PBC and Al Heyman and of not making the fight or not wanting the fight. So I'm asking you guys a legit question. What does that suggest if the fight does get made? And you heard the clip at the beginning. Stephen Espinoza saying 70, 80% things are going well. Both fighters seem to want it. You know, fingers crossed. So that's not absolute confirmation that the fight will happen, but Errol Spence on Showtime, when he was interviewed supporting his boy Frank Martin at his fight, he seemed optimistic. The clip my dude shot with Stephen Espinoza seemed optimistic. So it's looking funny. The money's looking funny in the light, because this is everything I've said, and for years people you know, took shots at me or said this or said I was cap. And they said the exact opposite of what I'm saying now that I've been saying for years. And anybody that's watched my channel will know that. I've said these things. I said it. I prophesied these things. And then they happen. So me, I want the fight to happen. I hope it happens. But I'm going to continue making these videos because you guys have to understand why it played out like this. And I'll use my voice, my channel, and my influence to keep schooling y'all on matters like that. Subscribe to the channel SLC. Let me know how I did in this video. But I'm optimistic as well. Hopefully they get the fight happen. Great fight for boxing. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.